I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Can you hear me, Kate?
Yes.
Thank you.
And roll call.
Supervisor Vastola,
Here.
Councilman O'Connor is absent. Councilman Stat,
Here.
Councilman Gronwall,
Here.
Councilwoman Crowley,
Present.
Salute to the flag led by Mike Virgil.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. A motion to approve the March 13th minutes. I will make that motion.
I will second.
Okay, Terry made the motion, Nate second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, first item on the agenda is setting a public hearing to entertain comments pertaining to septic placement on a variance request at 5626 Canada's Hollow Road on May 8th. Motion,
I make the motion, we do it.
okay, second,
I'll second.
okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That carries. And now we're going to recess to the Board of Health. We tabled last meeting a septic placement for 66 South Old Ball Hill Road. So we did circulate a letter from.
so I need a motion and a second for that.
I make a motion to open as the Board of Health.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're now officially a Board of Health. And once again, the 66 South Old Ball Hill Road is on the table. We did get some additional information. And we need to move forward tonight. Are there any comments from anyone at this time?
I would like to comment. This is Erica Crane.
Okay, new information?
Yes, did you receive the updated letter today for the board?
The letter I got a few hours ago, yes, and I did distribute it to everyone, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to kind of highlight our primary concerns that are more detailed in that letter, but you know, at the last town hall meeting, the plan was that we would speak with some experts about the plans for the well and the septic for the 6600 property. And Andre and I were able to do that. We consulted with several people.
You didn't give any names?
We're happy to do that. They actually said that
Well,
the proper procedure would be for the code enforcement officer to contact them. So I can give you that information if you'd like it, so
Well-
that the code enforcement officer can contact them if he has any questions.
it was Cheryl, maybe the engineer was Cheryl somebody, and then Rich Moravich was the well expert.
So we were kind of made aware of state code that's listed in that update that we gave you for everyone. The well expert kind of mentioned that the septic system that services the manufactured home on the south part of the 6587 property is up gradient from the proposed well for the 6600 property. And if a well is down gradient of a septic system, it needs to be 200 feet away. And it doesn't appear to be 200 feet away. And for us, this sort of, you know, it poses a big problem because that septic that is on our property will eventually need to be updated. That's just inevitable. And if you approve the well on the 6600 property, not only will it potentially be contaminated, which is a problem for the Johnsons. It also will be out of compliance with the rules for our septic system, which may affect how we are allowed to improve our septic in the future. And our septic was there, it's been there for a long time. So that's one problem that was brought to our attention. And then another is that the septic system for the 6600 property is up gradient of the well, the current well that is on our 6598 property. And in that case, according to the state code, based on what we were told, that septic system either needs to be 200 feet away from the well, or it needs to be down gradient of the current well. And that would require that septic get pushed down the hill a bit so that it's down gradient of that well. However, if that happens, it may affect the 6599 15A property owned by Mr. Kroger. So that also would need to be taken into consideration if they were to move that down. We also would like to know just how many, how many board members have actually been out to see the lot and the surrounding properties, because I just wonder if it might help if everybody had a sense of the problems related to this. It sort of puts everyone in a bad situation, including the Johnsons. And I just I'm curious if the people on the board are sort of aware of the situation. And then the last thing that I just would like to mention is that there's a lot of flooding that is a problem in this area, especially in
There's
the
flooding
area.
up and down County Road 36, including my property. I didn't bring my video of the flooding I had on my own property, just so you know. There's floodings everywhere. And
I
it's-
know there is a lot of flooding everywhere, but if you're going to approve a house and a well and a septic right where flooding passes through, I do also worry that, those types of situations need to be taken into account prior to building something. Otherwise, if the Johnsons need to divert water in the future, that could also affect the properties around them. So I would like to hear from the board about, what I've talked about, and also just sort of, do y'all have a sense of the surrounding properties and this property and how it may be affecting everyone?
I may just add one short 30-second thing here. So
30 seconds, okay?
Moravich is a highly esteemed well company. Rich Moravich came out and looked at the situation, and that was actually who the Johnsons had been dealing with about their well. And he said to me what he told them: they can't even get their rig down that driveway. That driveway is not even serviceable. I mean, it's like I don't know if you've seen this property. It's like it's not a place to build a home. It's so they won't. He can't get their rig down there to do a well. He told me.
Bill Grove, Mr. Grove, do you have any input on this as far as interpretation of state code and what the state code actually is?
Sure. So I can read right out of the state. I work with Rich Moravich all the time. I work with Cheryl Robbins at the health department all the time. So I'm very familiar with all the players with regard to this. So the Appendix 75A, which is the wastewater law that we have to follow when we do designs and when code enforcement approves systems, and as well as the design manual, which follows Appendix 75A, but 75A is the law. It states in there that, and this is right out of the manual, when wastewater treatment systems are located upgrade and in the direct path of surface water drainage to a well, the closest part of the treatment system shall be at least 200 feet away from the well. So when I read that, that part, the and part, that it has to be in the direct path of surface water drainage to the well, it is important, especially in this case where we don't have 200 feet from of separation between wells. So the well to the north, which is at the, what is it, 6598 property, the well north of our proposed septic system, we meet the 100-foot requirement from that. That well is not downgrade of the proposed septic system. It may be elevation wise slightly lower than our septic system, but it's not down gradient. And it's certainly not in the direct path of surface water to that well. And I believe the same with the mobile home that sits across the street, across on the east side of South Old Ball Hill Road, that we can be 100 feet from that with our proposed well, and that the ditch along the road cuts off surface water, which is the second part, that path, and in the direct path of surface water drainage to the well. So it's my opinion that we meet all the state's requirements with respect to the design. It's just the separation distance from the property lines that the town code has that we're looking for variance from.
Thank you.
So that was clarifying. So it's not just upgrading, but it has to be upgrading and in the flow. So can we get in writing, if this is going to be approved, can we get in writing that we will always be able to, we have 2 septic systems on our property that are, to me, are right up above where the Johnsons is going to be, whether it's the one where we live, and then we also have the mobile home that no one's living in right now. I mean, since these are existing properties, surely we'll be able to have new septic systems put in if we need that, right? And can we get that in writing? Or because I would hate it didn't seem right to me that existing house could be here and the Johnsons put in their well, and then 10 years from now we can't get a septic put in because they say, oh, it's not meeting code. Is that something that we can get in writing?
I'm not certain if I'm misspeaking, but I believe that's why we have a Board of Health. That's why we have a ZBA, to help out homeowners like yourself who say has something that's not to code. And you might just be in code. Are you saying relocating or putting on your existing footprint?
That's our whole point.
Yeah.
Here you're going to approve a well that really, I don't agree that, I mean, the amount of flooding each year, I mean, I would like the board to see the flooding.
I think the Johnsons should see the flooding.
It's pretty intense. And
It's a minute and 13 seconds.
yeah,
Right.
we would like the board to see that.
May we
Yeah.
show that?
We're not going to do that at this time. Okay.
I don't think, based on what the expert that we consulted with stated, that our 6598 well is necessarily safe. And I am concerned that in the future, if we need to update our septic for any reason, this new well will impact the Board of Health's determination about what we can do on our pre-existing septic, because you're approving potentially a well and a septic and a house that really shouldn't, in my view, be approved based on the Canadice Town Code. I mean, there's 11 properties with houses in this area of the road.
Yes, we're aware of that.
It's, the density of new development is supposed to be maintained below a level that would, support
We
municipal
went through
water
this last time, and I'm sorry to cut you
sewer
off.
services.
It's a pre-existing lot. That's what makes it different. It's a pre-existing lot, correct?
I understand that, but the concern is that approving something on a pre-existing lot when you have clauses in your code stating that you're not going to do anything that affects the rural neighborhood's water and septic in a concerning way is, I think, that's a concern for us. And it's really, when you want to get down to it, it's not it is going against the code Canadice Town Code with regard to property line, the 70 versus the 80 feet from the property line. So there's lots of different reasons that we are concerned about this, and 25 other people on this road are concerned about this, as you will see, in the first letter that was signed by many people in the neighborhood.
Comments from the board or the gallery?
So at our March meeting, I thought, I could be mistaken. But did somebody say they had their well water tested and they had E. coli in it, or did I misremember that?
We had that, I believe, so we've had that at 6587, I believe, Joan and Bob Cox. Joan, is that correct for you?
Yes, we do have it also that we are in the process of getting the results back from
a second test.
from Wayland there for testing.
Yeah, life science lab. So you've got pre-existing issues is my concern.
That would also probably be the same case for the people that are anywhere in this general vicinity.
And again, there's 11 houses in this general facility. So I already feel like we are above the maximum capacity, and you want to add another house onto something, an area that's already exhibiting problems. In addition to all of the other things I kind of mentioned in the last two meetings, this one and last one. And ultimately, I mean, it's not fair for the neighbors, but it's also really not fair for the Johnsons.
Okay. Would anyone else like to speak? I think we pretty much understand what you've been saying and appreciate the time and effort you've put into this to protect your interests.
I have one question if I can talk quick.
Sure, Mr. Jensen.
I just had a question for Bill. I saw on the plans that there's a couple vents that are going to be more or less closer to our property. Are we going to have to deal with smelling someone else's septic? Is one of my concerns, since I'm going to be just 100 feet away. I don't really want to smell someone else's sewer.
That's completely understandable. So the way this system works, it's an aerobic system, but it does it passively through this venting system. So we have a high vent and a low vent. If the system were downhill of the house, the high vent would be the roof vent through the house. But in a case where we have to pump it uphill, we lose that connectivity for air to go through the system. So typically the high vent acts as a chimney and draws air through the low vent, through the system, through the septic tank, and then out through the roof vent of the house. But like I said, if you add a pump tank, it kind of airlocks that airflow. So we've got to introduce a remote high vent. So it will be, it won't be any odors coming out of it that you wouldn't have out of a roof stack in a house. So I don't know if that answers your question. I can't say that it's not going to have any odors, but it's going to be the same as what would come out of your house vent.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to see what it was going to do, because I really don't look forward to having to smell someone else's stuff. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? I'm ready to put this to vote.
If this is approved, what is the process for appeal?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer.
So let's get the vote first. So, but you normally have 5 people, but O'Connor is absent. So it's, well, I guess, so you have 4 people, is that who are voting? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
How can we get the answer to that question for the appeal?
If I knew that answer, I'd be giving it to you. I don't know. And I'm sorry, I don't.
So you're not voting right now?
We're gonna put it to vote. Go, Mike.
I think it's in Article 78 that they file with the state.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I wasn't 100% sure. Yes, there's an Article 78 you could file with the state.
So, but when are you voting?
As soon as we're done talking, which is pretty soon, sir, and I'm so sorry. I don't.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah. We spent some time on this, and I think. Does anyone have any further questions on? Just move it along.
Well, I don't have any.
New
questions about
information.
the proposed septic system. I'm just concerned about the overall neighborhood. I mean, Bill has attested to the design of the new system, the new house. But that doesn't address the neighborhood issue. So do you have plans as a neighborhood to address your wider issue?
I'm sorry, are you directing that to me or?
Anybody? Well,
Anybody in the neighborhood, do you have plans to, so you got water shooting from one property to another? And obviously, there's some pretty big pipes, and were they approved? I saw some pretty big pipes in the video.
That is the town of Canadice's pipes. If you're looking at the pipe, the water shooting out of the pipes, that's the town of Canadice.
Those are culverts, yeah.
Yeah, those are culverts. So the town of Canadice's water system wasn't able to handle the capacity of water, and then you get overflow because of that. Well, it appears to me. And then, of course, all of that overflow goes into, you know, the surrounding land and affects different people's properties in different ways, depending on where it hits.
Yeah,
Personally, the way that we've tried to address the well issue is we tried to have a new well dug on one of our properties, and it still was a problem. And so we have to do expensive well treatments for all of the wells that we maintain.
Yeah, we paid Moravich $10,000 for a well like about 5 years ago, and we still have to treat it.
So in my view, there's a lot of people on this area of land trying to use resources and not a lot of room to spread out those resources sufficiently so that there isn't a problem. And the culverts don't accommodate especially spring runoff all the time. So then you have problems.
okay, thank you.
Hi, this is Joan Cox.
Hi, Joan.
I just wanted to mention the fact that our land to the north of our house, which is the south of the Johnsons, all the way to Mr. Jensen's house, which is the rental of Andre and Erica's property. We were all talking, I mean, our property is always wet from,
Water table,
huh?
from the water table.
From the water table. I mean, we can't even mow our yard until like June on the north side because it's just wet. And that means that whole area where the Johnsons are trying to build is usually wet because the Johnsons are also wet. And so is the next property beyond that, which is Tanya and Leanne and
property.
Adams, huh?
It's a state property.
Or the state property, and then Leanne and Adams' houses after that, and they're still wet. So, I mean, you got to kind of make sure that they understand that they're going to be building on something that always has moisture in it. And putting a septic system in there, you're going to have more moisture, just like we do. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm calling a vote for the approval of the septic system. Those in favor? Those opposed?
I'm not hearing anything. How about you do a roll call vote? Because I can't hear what's going on.
Terry Granwell,
I approve it.
Chris Bastola, I approve it.
Mark Stat, I approve it.
And this is Kate. I do understand the concerns that the residents are expressing. It's also clear that the engineer for the project has taken a second look. And based on that, I would also approve the variance request.
So the board is unanimous for that approval. The Johnsons still might not build on it
Right,
based on information you've said. So with that part, we don't know. What we do know is we've spent and done our due diligence, checking it out with our planning board, with our CEO, with the engineer who's in compliance with the New York State Department of Health. And we're comfortable with this decision. We thank you for your time tonight.
Thank
Do you, just a question, do you want to specify that it's, that you're, what exactly it is that you're approving, which is the setback of less than 80 feet to the property lines?
mhm.
Or do you, or is it just enough that you've, the septic as designed
You
meets the?
made an adjustment on that
requirements.
last one, Bill, that last setback.
I didn't adjust it, I just added those dimensions.
Okay, so yeah. The eight
I want to
foot,
make sure that it's clear what it is that is
Right,
approved.
what the
because it
variance
does
is
get
for.
appealed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So why don't we read off those numbers then so I can put that in? Thank you.
yeah, and also that, again, we're in compliance with state code, but it's the variance versus our Canada's town code, correct, Bill?
Correct. So the numbers would be 72 feet from the north property line and 16.5 feet to the east property line, which is the right of way.
Thank you.
And if you wanted to reference a plan, it's the plan revised on 4/7/23.
And it was revised to add those numbers.
Right.
Are you calling that Rev 1 or Rev 2, by the way, or just the date? stamp?
Just Rev 1. I just do the Rev with the date. So it'd be the first revision, but the date on it
Right.
was 4/7/23.
Okay, thank you for the detail, appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, I need a motion to reconvene as a town board.
I make the motion to reconvene.
I'll second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Privilege of the floor, met with the Honey Eye Rotary, some good news. There's gonna be 8 performances in a row, starting July 7th. And there'll be 2 new performers this year. One's the Pittsburgh Fire Department band,
Mhm.
and the other one is an Elvis impersonator. The rest are returnees. So that's kind of nice. That's some good news. And now we'll go into community. Anyone else have privilege of the floor at this time?
No.
Emailed ZBA, planning board minutes. Thank you for those. Cooperative Association of Towns, Richmond Rec Senior Flyer. And now we go into reports. Report town clerk.
Paying to the supervisor for the general fund, $2,293.84. For water, $639.10. DEC decals, $151.16. Animal population control fund of $28 for a total disbursement of $3,112.10. I had my closing with the county treasurer's office. They're still working through quite a few issues with the new software system. So I did give them a check. And there were 40 parcels remaining unpaid, which is about average. They run between 39 to 40 something. I think it was 41 parcels last year. And I wrote out a check to them for $502,075.12. However, I still have some questions because it does not jive with my checking account. I have more money in there that I should have left, which would bring the final interest and penalty payments to the supervisor, which should be roughly around 3,000. So our town's not the only one that's run into issues with this new software in that respect. So hopefully we'll get that situated. We have a meeting this Wednesday to go over some of these issues. And that's all I have right now.
Thank you. Historian, no report. CEO.
No.
We have to approve her
Oh.
report. I make a motion to approve the town clerk's report.
I second it.
Those in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That carries. CEO, we got the report from the CEO. Thank you. Anything additional? Planning board, Ted?
Okay, the planning board met on March 27th. We didn't have any applications to consider. We did receive the final survey map from Gabriel Costanza subdivision on South Little Ball Hill Road. So that application is complete. We received word from the county of Ontario that the re-subdivision application for the Shaw property between Canada Lake Road and County Road 37 was complete. So they combined those two parcels. And so the Shaw site plan is nearly complete.
And that's what the county planning board input, did you say? I thought you said the
Now,
county.
county real property,
Oh, county.
there's a re-subdivision.
Okay.
We're just joining two properties
Okay.
together.
Got it.
So that was complete. And that's all we had.
Thank you. And that was a short meeting. It was nice.
It was a short meeting.
Lucky you. All right. ZBA, no additional report. Highway Superintendent Jerry.
Already. We made 15 hopefully plow salt runs in the month of March since the last meeting. Also made an additional 3 runs for taking care of drifting areas. Been around town at least once, patching potholes with cold patch. We've also been up on the dirt portion of Canadice Hill Road at 2 different occasions. Spread some material on the potholes up there, and we also took the tractor up there and graded the potholes with the back weight on the rear of the tractor. Just trying to use what we have until the grader comes in, which I've been told is in production. We have a VIN number, so hopefully here within the next month or 2, we'll have that in our possession.
Just in time.
We've had several wind events, which have caused us to spend several days running around town, cleaning up from trees that have fallen over and from miscellaneous debris, brush that has been in the ditch. Driving around, checking ditches and culverts has pretty much become a religious practice for us. And it paid off with that rain that we got on Wednesday. The guys had spent probably 6 hours that morning running around, and I only had just a few issues. So
It keeps those culverts clear, so they're not big.
it definitely pays off to be preventative.
Absolutely.
And we've been hauling materials for our paving project up on Tibbles Road. So far, we've got 1,000+ tons hauled in, so we're about halfway to what we need. I've got permission from Mr. Gertz to use his property down on 36 across from the ranch there to stockpile material for when we work on Old Westlake Road. So that's gonna be a huge help, because we won't be taking trucks up and down Jersey Hill Road, beating that road up. Thank you. Then it took the 2014 Mack 10-wheeler up to B Mac. We've been nursing through a leaky radiator for the past month and a half during plow season. And it finally got to the point where an occasional drip was a pretty good sized puddle every time we looked underneath there, so. We got through the winter, which is what we were hoping for. Now that things kind of settled down, we have had a chance to take that up there.
How much? Roughly?
I haven't got the exact bill from them, but it was over $5,000.
Micromanaging money this time.
The brand new 10-wheeler. Has been over to Tenco a couple times to have hydraulic leaks fixed. First time they didn't fix it, so it had to go back again. And then the news, I got the news on the Ford Maverick, which was ordered for the CEO's office, that whole municipal order had been canceled. So it wasn't just us that was affected, it was anybody who municipally ordered a Ford Maverick.
Somewhat comforting.
Right. He didn't say how many people that affected, but it wasn't just us.
Right.
I see you have that later on.
Yeah, we could go into that a little bit later, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you very much.
So I've got one question. You have to take so much salt in order to meet the discount rate.
Yeah.
Are you good?
I need to have another 250 tons delivered.
Okay, and you've got room for it.
Oh, yeah.
For
Yeah,
this year, continually stockpiling.
That's to meet the 22, 23
Right.
requirements. Right. I'm required to meet 70% of what I ordered.
Gotcha. Where are we at now? Percentage?
At probably 50s, between 50 and 60%. You know, I've been ordering 250 tons in a whack, so I need to place one more order.
Oh, good, thanks.
We have
Good
plenty
question.
of room. We've actually used as much material this year as we have
Really?
any other winter.
Because of all the ice.
Because of all the ice.
Thank you.
So I had to fulfill my requirement for next year's salt order, so that's taken care of. I did reduce the amount that I
Commit to.
commit to, yeah. So my 70% will be a little less, so
Cool.
we'll see how that works out. The only downfall is I commit to something that I don't know a price for. So. It's,
Well, you know it's gonna go down, right?
oh, yeah.
You don't even know who's got the contract either, do you?
Not at the moment.
Just committed
And
to,
there's been talk that governor is trying to make it so anybody within the state of New York has to purchase salt from the state of New York. So
Oh,
there's 2 salt mines in the state of New York, so the demand is gonna go up, so most likely the price will probably go up. But we're also on a county level, we're working on creating our own bid to submit to American Rock Salt. Hopefully lower the price from what the state OGS bid is.
oh, as a consortium, like as a county consortium?
Yeah,
County. Get
Nice.
some leverage.
and then we'll probably team up with Wayne County
Mm-hmm,
as well, just to kind of make the group a little bit larger.
right.
Is it Tim or Dan doing that?
Tim's working on that.
Yeah. Sound today. Good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Honeywell Lake watershed.
Well, the big concern over the last few weeks has been the lake level.
Mhm.
I get anywhere from 1 to 3 emails a day. Except from Kate,
Oh, I should start sending people to you, is that what you're saying?
except from Kate. So I did my homework.
It's always.
The precipitation year to date, 2023
Mhm.
is up 4 to 5 inches. We've gotten 2.5, a little over 2.5 inches of rain in the last 10 days in April. Keep in mind that the Honeywell Lake watershed is 2.5 to 3 times bigger than a lake. So it's not just the water falling in the lake. over 2 or 3 days, the water that falls in the watershed
It's well
ends up in the lake. The lake crested last Saturday at a little about somewhere between 27 and 30 inches high.
Mhm.
Checked it this afternoon and it's down to 24 inches high. So it's coming down nicely. So in addition to that, Mark has more detail than I do because he got it firsthand. I got my information from Mark. But the town of Richmond has been trapping beavers in the outlet channel. And we're building beaver dams and impeding the water flow. So they're on it. Right, Mark?
Yep.
There's more water coming. And they are finalizing a long-term plan to submit to the DEC to remove the shale out of the outlet that's impeding the water flow. But having said that, I've been studying lake level for 20 years, over 20 years. And I go back 15 years, I go back 20 years. When it stops raining and the runoff stops, the lake drops 1.5 inches a day.
Mhm.
It dropped 4 or 5 inches since Saturday, so it dropped. In spite of the beavers, in spite of the shale, it's dropping 2 inches or better a day.
Drop all week.
Yeah, so that's been the big one, but they're finding me, everybody but Kate is finding me. So the other one I wanted to highlight was on Saturday, April 22nd is the Honeyway Valley Association Annual Roadside Trash Cleanup Day.
I've been working hard.
Good, good.
I'll be there.
We count on Kate. She's one of our reliable volunteers.
Yeah.
I already got my vest. I kept my vest from
All
last.
right. And on the backside, I'm not gonna go there, is the Mueller.
It's
Fuel
the
Station.
22nd.
So that's fine.
I did have one question. How many times have we removed shale from the outlet in the past 15 years?
Well, okay. He brought this up.
Mhm.
Mark knows this. Mike knows this. So if you go back,
Because there's still,
if you go back
people keep talking.
20 years ago, if you go back 30 or 40 years ago, the town of Richmond had a maintenance permit and they'd go in every 2 or 3 years and remove shale.
And clean it, right?
Somewhere around 2003, 2004, somewhere around there, that permit expired and the DEC did not renew it. So the town has not been able to get a permit to remove shale until the fall of 2021. I helped the town. And we got a permit to go from the 28 bridge to the firehouse gully and remove shale.
Mhm.
And last summer, I helped them and they got an emergency permit to remove shale from behind the Mill Creek Cafe, completely underneath the bridge, maybe 30, 40 feet north of the bridge. And even right now, with the lake level 2.5 feet high, the water is just roaring underneath the bridge.
Mhm.
So the bridge is not currently the bottleneck.
Right.
But if you go back a year or two, the bridge,
Yeah.
there's so much shale underneath the
Right.
bridge that it was acting.
So it might not need to be that often, and that's something we'll keep monitoring.
Right, but the town of Richmond, up until 03, 04, 05, somewhere in there, had a maintenance permit and they could go in and do that. Okay, thank you. So that's the history.
Yeah, I just, if I could get a one sheet with the dates.
Yeah.
Just a one sheet,
Yeah.
then we can add to it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Anyway, I'm done.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
And FYI, the April 22nd date is on the website and posted on our signboards.
Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you.
Great.
It's nice to see Cat and ex-residents. So anytime you're there, just kind of ask where people are from. It's always neat to see. There's actually folks that don't live in Richmond or Canadites at that event every year. So Livonia folks and South Bristol folks come over just to help out. That's kind of nice. I want to thank them. We've got the assessor report. been really busy, putting in a lot of hours and doing their due diligence on the reassessment. Applaud them for their efforts, Holly and Lisa. You get that? Irene?
Get what?
I was commending the work by our assessor and our assessor clerk.
Okay,
I was giving an atta girl.
it's being recorded, so it's for everybody to hear.
Excellent, very professional. Moving right along, Water District report.
So, the March, total pumped was 72 gallons lower than last March. Even with the, increased number of residents on the, water system. It appears that they've, got it, so that we're doing less, pumping. And once Eileen has some time and can release the water report to me, I can do the quarterly evaluation.
Okay.
So I have not bothered the town clerk's office because I know how busy they are.
Well, an added piece to that water billing issue, not just the meters that Joe had to go read separately. Something didn't look right when I first ran the summary last Thursday.
Okay,
And when I went to do my closing with the treasurer, I had a couple of people check over something I was suspicious about. And
Okay.
the re-levy that I sent to real property was never put on those tax bills.
do it again. The re-levy was
Of
never.
the water bills that I sent to real property last fall were never
Oh.
put on the tax bills.
Oh,
So
cool.
I've
What
got
are-
to, I've got to call Williamson Law Book tomorrow because it was too late to do anything Thursday.
Okay,
And figure out how, so those water bills were pulled. The amounts will have to go on those water bills and I've got to figure out how to address it for the year, because if they're the people that want it on their tax bill, it'll be sitting there until next year.
right, right. And these are the tardy payers.
Correct. And there were 2 people I had mailed checks back to because it was past the date that I had sent the list. And there were 2 people I told not to mail a bill because I had sent the list.
Right,
So there were 4 of them that at least would have been current.
shoot.
Yeah.
Hey, we try.
We try, and they apologized.
Okay, so how are we doing with water meters? Have we had any that had froze this winter? I hope not.
I haven't heard of any, no.
Okay,
But I was hearing rumblings about the city of Rochester, last fall, sending out memos to residents if they weren't gonna be living at their property. They advised them to take their meters out. I don't know how true that is, only because there's a couple residents where. I go down to check the meters because the city of Rochester can't read them, so I have to go investigate. And then I go look at in the pits and the meters aren't there. And we don't have any record of it, so I don't know. I guess what I'm asking is do they involve us with memos like that?
I would expect them to. Who's gonna follow up? You or I?
You can, and what about the city on there where they were put in?
So the city shouldn't have anything to do with operations.
Okay.
That should be, between Joe and, Patty and Dave's
If
crew.
you'd like to, that'd be awesome,
Absolutely.
please.
Okay,
Sure,
that's wrong.
Call your neighbors,
I will, I'm sorry.
call your neighbors.
On the other hand, there are some issues, it was on average 4 or 5, I guess, Eileen had said to me that I would have to go read the meters for various reasons.
Exactly.
Well, it was up to 8 or 9 this last time, and a few of them, I guess would just need like antennas.
Did they get covered up then? Pretty much, or they weren't there, they're just not there.
No, they were there, they weren't read.
Yeah, they're
City of Rochester
underwater.
Wasn't able to read them because they're the meter pits filled with water.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'll bet there's at least one on Twin Bay, if not more.
Yeah, and you know, I've had contractors ask me about the antenna, because they don't want it on or whatever, the customer or the homeowner doesn't know what it is. And I tell them to keep it on because it's beneficial for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I will follow up because I need to know a property that didn't have a meter when you got there.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Okay, we got some financial reports. We do have the close of December, and she did put out a letter stating she's getting closer to buttoning things up, and it's definitely something we need to see. I just got these reports today as well. So we do have January, and let's just go over them over the next winter, so I can see some analysis. Please let us know.
Great.
And,
Great.
yeah, I think we're on the right page. I just gave you a quick overview with some detail. Of the CDs and so forth, so that's going to continue, and I think we're in good shape with that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, so the report that is for the month of December, that would have the journal entries in it, correct?
It should,
Okay, we don't have a copy of those journal entries.
correct. I just got, like I said, this happened after we met on Saturday.
Okay, can I ask Krista to email that to each of us?
I would actually ask for that, yes.
Thank you.
Ask for that
Okay,
in March.
okay,
That's a great question.
okay. Yeah, otherwise, you know, we're gonna be like, it looks okay.
So you really can't approve it.
Right,
Yeah, so at least we got something to get our arms around. We definitely needed that.
we have homework.
Unfinished business, we do have our lawn bids, which include the cemetery. And as I look through them. I'll just put the one company that just really did everything we asked. Is the Quality Landscape. I don't know any of these people, which is good. But he also provided a certificate of insurance that wasn't in your packet, just above and beyond everything, but yet the per unit price coming 26 times, $75 is on par with what the husband and wife were doing last year. And I have a feeling our cemetery is going to look a little better as well. This is all said and done.
He was the only one that called. Asking any information on it too.
Oh, that's right, Mark, please. Well, that's even greater. That's even better and more.
No, he was the only one that called to
Okay,
just to ask a few questions, wasn't anything big, but
good.
he was the only one that inquired anything.
Okay, thank you. Mark was the point person if there was any, and so I was able to successfully delegate.
Work.
Yeah, so I look at that and we know what it's gonna cost for the whole year. So we look at that and say, oh, it's a lot. Well, no, it's not. That's what I see.
So are you recommending Quality?
I am, and even more so after what Mark.
Yeah,
what Mark said.
Then I make a motion to accept Quality's bid.
I second that. The secretary made the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was easy. The sidewalk bids are open till the 26th at 4 p.m. So that's the next on deck, and we'll have that hopefully for next meeting. And did we receive any bids yet, Eileen?
Nope.
Okay,
I met with 2 contractors so far,
okay,
pretty much a day or 2 after the postcard went out.
okay.
So
Is Roy one of them?
Roy's not one that I met with.
Really?
Roy's extremely busy.
I know. I see his
I-
trucks everywhere.
I wasn't really even sure if he was in town because he normally goes to Florida for the winter
He
time.
didn't
But
go this year.
I happened to see him
Okay,
one of those wind days when I was out cutting a tree up. He stopped and was told me I could drop whatever wood I wanted off over at his house.
yeah, ditto. By the way, ditto. Not that much, but if you're passing by. dry hardware. Okay, the Maverick order, the Maverick order was canceled and we have some options, Jerry and I discussed a little bit, but, the old 250 before we turn that back, maybe that's an option. And
Yeah, so typically I drive it for 2 years, it gets passed down to the crew for 2 years, and then we send it to auction. So we have one on order right now, whether it'll actually be fulfilled, I couldn't tell you.
Right.
So that could potentially be an option to hang on to it for another 2 years. And just add it to the rotation.
So it'd be 3 in the rotation instead of 2.
Right.
I think, so,
And
yes,
it's more truck than you
Then you need.
probably need, but
Right.
it's bought.
it's
paid
already
for.
bought, and paid for at that point, so.
So what, can I ask what the return trade-in on those usually is? Is it more beneficial to do that over just buying something outright?
I saw it on auction, last time, I don't remember the exact number, but the town owned it for 4 years for $150 a month,
Wow.
when the return that I got on selling it at auction. Some of the guys are, every year they're buying a new pickup truck and they're actually making money when they sell it on auction, which is a big no-no, but.
Yeah, you got-
Well, I guess by default, that would be
Right.
almost a better idea.
yeah, we'll discuss it further over the
Yeah.
next few weeks.
I did talk to George over at Van Bortle this afternoon. There was a Ford Escape that could potentially be an option. They have not released a order date yet for that, and he doesn't know when that'll happen. He said the only thing right now is an Excursion. He said based on what Escapes were going for last year and what the markups have been on most of these other things, he said be somewhere in the mid-30s.
Well, that's still the same budget. we had for the Maverick.
Yep,
And
and
that was it, what model again was the mid?
Escape. And then that CV van that he had mentioned the last time that I talked to him, the electric option, he said that would be in the 60s. So, I mean, you're looking at, you can get a,
Get 2 of them.
yeah. And it's just a rear wheel drive vehicle. So
Yeah, what's the,
you probably get stuck left and right going down to 3 meters.
Okay, let's do that.
Is the Escape
All-wheel drive, yeah.
Oh,
okay, thank you. Hey, Kate and Stephen, Town Court audit
Mhm.
got done. Those in favor? There many motion,
Make a motion to accept it.
second,
I'll second.
those in favor?
Aye.
That carries. Authorization of purchase of 10-wheel plow truck. I move to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the 10-wheel plow truck,
I'll second.
Western Star.
Okay. And I gave you a copy, Jeremy. So the Federal Highway Administration has $111 million, it's a little more than that. And I did have some meetings with the county, so I spoke with Tom Harvey in Public Works, and they're gonna look into this. Everything from our Salamander crossing by Mueller Field Station to.
Don't even get me going on that. Those.
This don't save you the flashlight, because anyway, this is serious.
We don't know how lucky
We'll dig
they are
a
that nobody's
tunnel.
been hit doing this.
Oh,
So this isn't just,
So frustrating.
I just came from Colorado, these projects are being done all over, and if we don't ask. for the
They
money,
are. It's
if we don't ask for
crazy.
the
Just
money,
get a chairlift.
we're not gonna get it.
It's crazy.
I think biodiversity is important.
This is coming with animal training.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Yes,
All right,
yeah.
I'm trying to do something nice here. and then-
Use this tunnel, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they can't even follow the signs to cross.
Exactly, deer
Deer crossing signs, you can't follow that. Then if you do all that, what are the crows gonna eat?
Right.
Crows are gonna be hungry.
Saw it hunting, what happened is a deer got hit and it was still alive, so someone else had to call the sheriff.
Oh, Lord.
I went by a deer in 36, but I didn't notice it. It was.
That are alive.
Happens all the time.
So I've dispatched many of them that were alive.
I've hit my share of deer. I mean.
Yeah, we had one hit one night and I called the sheriff and they were gonna get around to it. And I said, look, I'll just take the 20 gauge. They're like, no. And all of a sudden I had 4 vehicles.
Oh, really? Cause I called the one dead in the back of the barn. I said, there's one dead at the back of the barn. I'm gonna shoot it. And they said, okay.
Okay.
Depends when and who.
Yeah, it's a woman with a 20 gauge.
Yeah.
Approval of the bills.
Make a motion to approve the bills.
I'll
Second.
second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
You don't have to abstain.
Well, I felt like abstaining.
You want to?
No, I'll approve.
All right.
Oh, I want to go, it's past my bedtime. I thought this would go longer. Privilege of the floor.
I just have one thing that I didn't, I took it out of the Dropbox. I'll make sure the historian's note arrived. I'm assuming they've made contact with this person. There was a CD left for them. And it's photos of cottages and the pipeline. From 1943 Hemlock Canadice. And Charles Reed is the contributor. So I'm guessing he told them he would drop this off. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Very cool.
I do have another privilege of the floor. It was a late breaking resolution. And it's not. Highway budget modifications,
Mm-hmm.
move to approve
Wait, what is this for?
budget modifications because.
They're all small. I'll make a motion to approve the highway budget modifications.
There's a second.
Your pay, we're giving you more.
There.
We're all small.
Don't take anything away.
Yeah, but it's budget. And so what are the offsets coming from contingency? Increase.
This just magically appeared today when I came there.
Oh, okay, she's just going twice. Okay,
For one reason.
we're fine.
Yeah. and
Okay.
There's another one too for the attorney. And assessor expenses, so. Yes, I approve those. Is there a second?
Yes,
Budget modifications. for
Second.
23, our first ones.
Christopher made the motion and I seconded.
Oh, I thought Terry did.
Terry made the.
That's fine. That's
We had,
fine.
we had 2 resolutions she wrote.
Okay,
They're not really necessary. We did them.
Aye.
I
made a motion on the highway one.
and I made the motion on the. General budget modifications for attorney and assessor.
so I have a super quick privilege of the floor. I sent a note to Rob Richardson to learn more about the Clean Energy Communities program. I also downloaded a list of all of the towns, villages, and cities that are part of and that have points accumulating. Our new geo system here in the town hall is worth points toward this program. I don't know if we'll ever be able to make enough points through this program that we could get grant funding, but we'll at least get,
Accumulating.
yeah, we'll at least get on the board.
Yep.
Okay,
And that's what some other things could do as well.
Okay.
Good, yes, please proceed with that. That's excellent.
okay.
You got one of those emails I forwarded?
No.
Another one? Good.
No.
So
it was-
back, I'm sorry, back to the other transfer. I need something. I can't just have a motion and second and approval.
What do you need? The second one was for attorney and assessor expenses.
Yeah, I need the amount.
Mhm.
I'll give you the resolution.
Okay. There
How's
were
that?
some transfers that Christine used to do that did not have resolutions. They were listed as transfers.
Yeah.
from one to the other, so I don't know. Some of these you're doing resolutions for may not need resolution, but I'm
I
not
agree.
positive.
Trista did them. I just appeared today when I came in.
Well, she wouldn't necessarily know whether it was a resolution or a transfer.
Well, she wrote them. I know I didn't.
I know she knows the money's transferring. My point is it was Christine that did them either as a transfer or as a resolution, not the budget clerk.
Right.
So that might be something you could consider in the future and ask Christine about when you see her, what the
Okay.
what the difference was.
Right, okay. I think just making a simple modification and maintaining on the spreadsheet so we can see them at the end of the year, be cleaner. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Nope. Motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
I second. Thank you, everybody. I thought we were gonna go till 9:30 for a while. last night.
I didn't know there. You. Good job. Good job.
I haven't had any meetings in a day in a while. And the first one was long, the Public Works meeting, actually, was only an hour.